Hello there everyone, this is Jack Talks Star Wars and welcome to my first video. Today we're going to be talking about and explaining Chapter 13 of The Mandalorian, titled The Jedi. Now, obvious spoiler warnings for this episode, so if you haven't seen it yet and don't want to be completely spoiled, why did you even click on the video? Go and watch the episode, I know you'll enjoy it, it's great. Now, let's talk about the big one right in front of us. Ahsoka Tano makes her live-action debut played by Rosario Dawson. And this is something that we've been hearing rumours about for a long time, and we weren't certain whether she was going to be in, but after Bo-Katan gave us the name, we were certain that we were going to get to see her. And now we have Ahsoka showing up in this episode right in front of us, igniting her white lightsabers and taking out some ground troops off the start. The last time many people will have seen Ahsoka would have been in the Clone Wars final season that recently came out. And a lot of people may be wondering how she got those white lightsabers, and how she's gotten to where she is now. And for those of us who've watched Star Wars Rebels, this is going to be a bit more clear, but we're still not 100% on how she's ended up on Corvus. The last time we saw Ahsoka in Rebels was after Return of the Jedi. At the end of the show, she travels to Lothal, meeting up with Sabine Wren, another Mandalorian who could potentially show up at some point down the line in the Mandalorian show. We're not certain though. Ahsoka and Sabine began their search for Ezra, as he was lost after sending himself and Thrawn into hyperspace.
Get out of there right now, that's an order.
Hera, I have to see this through to the end.
Ezra, please, get out of there!
I can't do that. It's up to all of you now. And remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Now, Thrawn is someone I'll get back to, because we get a name drop for him in this episode and there's a lot we can theorize about with him. But somewhere between leaving her search for Ezra, Ahsoka ends up here on Corvus, where she would come to meet Mando and the now named Grogu. Tell me what you guys think about that. Baby Yoda now being called Grogu, what do we think? Is that a good name, or are you just going to keep calling him Baby Yoda? I think I'll have to see a couple more episodes with Mando actually calling him Grogu to see what I think.
Is he speaking?
In a way. Grogu and I can feel each other's thoughts.
Grogu?
Yes. That's his name.
But we also, not only hear, but get a glimpse of Morai, who, Morai is a representation of the daughter from the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars, and a basic summary of that is Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka end up on Mortis, this planet that they find to be home to the father, the son, and the daughter. And the father is the balance between the two, the son being an embodiment of the dark side, and the daughter being the embodiment of the light. And eventually, the daughter gives her life to save Ahsoka's life, and she then becomes Morai. As we learn later, we see Morai in Rebels, and it always seems to be a sign of Ahsoka is around when you see Morai. And I think that's a really nice touch from Dave Filoni to show us Morai in live action. Now let's get on to some theories about Grand Admiral Thrawn.
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
So, Grand Admiral Thrawn. He was first introduced in the Heir to the Empire novel, and he's basically a commander who studies art. He studies everything about a culture to defeat his enemy. He is one of the few people who, if he did show up at some point in this series, in The Mandalorian, he's one of the few people that could probably quite easily take down Mando and his crew. He's a Chiss male, so he's blue. and in Star Wars Rebels he posed quite the threat to Ezra, Kanan, and the rest of the team. I feel if he was to show up in The Mandalorian, there's a good chance that Moff Gideon could be answering to Thrawn, because Thrawn is one of the few people in the Empire high up in that kind of ranking system. And one thing with that, though, is we have to ask, how did Thrawn end up where he is now? Because when we last saw Thrawn, obviously, he was sent into hyperspace by Ezra. And we don't know, however, how he would maybe escape Ezra, or because it seems he's back in a position of power here in The Mandalorian, because the magistrate here serves under Thrawn. Now, does that mean that Ezra can't be found and that's why Ahsoka is here? Or is it Thrawn maybe has Ezra locked up and Ahsoka is looking for Thrawn to get to Ezra? Perhaps that's what we're looking at here. But either way, whether this is just a nod to the character or something bigger, I think we can expect something from Thrawn in the future. Be that there was a rumoured sequel show to Rebels, now he'd probably show up in that, obviously. Or maybe he could even show up as the next big bad after Moff Gideon. You know, who does Moff Gideon actually answer to? Because it seems Moff Gideon's doing some pretty high level stuff in the Empire, but Moff is still not the top rank, and Moff Gideon has to be answering to someone. He's not the highest rank in the Empire, or the remnants of the Empire at least. Or maybe is Moff Gideon simply trying to start up a new order, that being the First Order? How does that come about? Because now we know, obviously, because of Rise of Skywalker, that Palpatine was cloning, and Snoke was sort of a failed clone, if you will, as a sort of puppet master for the true puppeteer being Palpatine behind the strings all along. But we're still not sure how that comes about, and I think if we could see maybe Thrawn was given some kind of ultimate plan by Palpatine after, you know, in case of my death of my physical body, this is what I need you to do. I need you to get some high power people in the Empire, and I need you to begin this process. Perhaps that's what it is. We're not sure though, and you know, we've still got a couple more episodes to go through. Which I think they'll elaborate more on this, because I think they're definitely tying The Mandalorian to the sequel trilogy somehow, be that through the cloning process. And obviously, you know, we don't see Mando or Baby Yoda, Grogu, we don't see them in the sequel trilogy. Now, whether that's just because they maybe leave and go to sort of the Outer Rim and don't show up, or maybe something happens, because Palpatine gets his clone one way or another, be it not perfect clone, obviously, it's decaying because it can't hold his body, it can't hold the dark side within, but he gets it somehow, and we're not sure how he's going to do that, or if Mandalorian's even going to tie him to that, because I believe a season 3 has been announced already, so obviously we can't end here. Mando and Grogu are most likely going to survive to next season, otherwise it wouldn't really be called The Mandalorian. But we've got a lot of stuff we can go to. We can do Thrawn, we can maybe bring Ezra in, we can bring Sabine in, we can do a lot of things with this show that I think a lot of people are going to like. But anyway, that's been my initial sort of explanation of some of the things in this episode that some people might not have instantly got, or they might not have even seen before. You know, a lot of people, The Mandalorian might be their first Star Wars TV show. They might not watch Clone Wars, not watch Rebels, and so a lot of the stuff, especially when you've got Dave Filoni directing the episode, there's going to be a lot of difficult stuff to pick up on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode next week. I think we'll probably get into a climax here. Moff Gideon, Darksaber, he's going to face off against someone. And as we saw, Mando can stop the lightsabers with his Beskar armor. So will he be able to face off against Moff Gideon with the, you know, he's now got that staff. So Mando with the Beskar staff versus Moff Gideon with the Darksaber. That's a pretty good fight. So yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I hope you guys are too. Feel free to leave a comment with anything that I might have missed. Even if I missed anything that you guys picked up on, feel free to leave that in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like. If not, leave a dislike and tell me why. And yeah, if you did enjoy and you like Star Wars content just as much as I do, and you want to come back, I've got a load of different things planned for this channel. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. Obviously you don't have to, but hey, you want to see the videos more consistently, then go ahead and hit it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.